How you doing?
Things are good, man. Things are really good.
That's great. That's great.
No complaints. Nice to see you guys. It's me. It's me. It's me. It's me. It's me.
You're looking good too. You're looking great.
Thank you. I feel pretty good too, man. You guys too, man.
Yeah, yeah. You remember Tocarra? She interviewed you some years back.
Where is it from? Where?
Chicago area. Remember you came to Keegan. You had a show, I think, for a whole week, and Tocarra, y'all was in contact.
Right. We used to text back and forth. Don't tell me you forgot.
Man, you know, it's not that I ain't forget. It's that I have problems accessing my rememberer.
But it's like we
good to reconnect.
Yeah.
It takes a second, you know.
Yes. And thank you for taking time to do the interview. We really appreciate you. We're a fan of yours and all that good stuff. So thank you.
Thank you. You know, when I see two black people, I ain't got to worry about trusting them. You know what I mean? You know, you know, that's the one thing. That's one thing you ain't got to worry about. You know, you ain't got to worry about trusting them. You know?
Right?
Yeah, but when the guns go off, we the only ones we got. We already know that.
That's true.
I don't care how good you think you are. Let's stick together here, boy.
That's the truth.
Know, yeah, boy.
Truth. That's the truth. So, all right. So we gotta get started. You have a memoir titled "Living in Color." What inspired you to write this phenomenal book? Yep, that is. That is beautiful. Beautiful.
Actually, my sister. I have this here. Can you see that?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Actually, my sister, who's in that picture, and then she's in this picture too. Right?
Nice.
So actually, she did, you know, because she was like, why don't you ever talk about mom, you know, who is her in the middle, you know? And I ain't paying no attention because she always bothered me. So I was like, oh, whatever, you know, never talk about her in interviews. Every time you have a chance on TV, you never say nothing about her. And so I had to give that some thought, you know. And I was like, why don't I? And I realized that I'm ashamed, you know, of her, or was ashamed of her. And so it happened so long ago that it's an actual psychological habit to just not mention her. If I don't mention her, I ain't got no problems, you know. Or if you don't see her, I ain't got no problem. See, because I grew up in DC. And, you know, when my mother came around, all the black people were like looking at me funny, like, you ain't really black and all this, you know? So if they didn't see him, I was good to go, you know? And as long as, you know, when I'm with my family, it's all white people, it's difficult. Because when they see me with them, it's a whole other thing too. So I entitled the book "Living in Color" in that sense. You see, I just happened to be on a show called "Living Color." You see, so it was that what happened in my mind as a child led to "In Living Color." Living in color led to "In Living Color." So I said, that's the title.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you just mentioned that you grew up in DC and then that you were, you know, raised by well, you didn't say it, but by a Caucasian family. So many Black comedians make jokes about Caucasians, you know, et cetera, et cetera. What's your take on that? And did your upbringing have any impact or limitations to your material as far as the family?
Actually, my background actually gave me limitless material. Like there's nothing that I can't touch because I had the experience on both sides, you see. So, you know, and, you know, I wish I could zip this off, this black during interviews and stuff. Like, you know, job interviews, because they probably go a lot better. but you know, it was yeah. You know, but I can't. And so, you know, I am Black. And so I can be Black and I can have a varied experience. Like a white person can be white and have varied experiences. And so that's the deal. So they talk about things from their perception, from their standpoint, from what they were influenced by culturally. And so that makes me limitless, you see? So, you know, I could talk about white people as well as Black people, but I talk about white people from a Black perspective because I am, you see? So, you know, I hear comics making fun of white people and a lot of it's true, you know, but the stuff that isn't true, I can expound on. You see what I mean? I can expound on, you know. It's true that most of them can't dance, you know. Some of them can, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, when it comes to that, you know, most of them in this country can excel in places other than dance that we can't. So some things that come natural to us are naturally inherited by them through the way that this society is set up. You know, for example, me and my sister used to get to school late. When we would get to school late in high school, you know, we had to go sign up for detention, you know, and we walked to school together. So they'd send my sister straight to class and send me to sign up for detention. So my mother coming to the school, she liked to do that kind of stuff. And why I'm ashamed of her was stuff like this, you know. So she come to the school and raise hell. So she went to the principal's office, raised hell. You know, why are you sending my son to detention and my daughter to class? And they're like, well, we didn't know that was your son. She said, that shouldn't make no difference, you know. And what happened was she took me out of school that day, took me to the park and told me something that made me cry, boy. She told me, I'm gonna tell you this and you ain't gonna like it. She said, your sister, she said, in order to get ahead in life, you can't be late, but your sister can, you know? And I was like, what? How in the world? What? You know? Right. And so those are the kind of differences that I can talk about that a lot of people, Black people hadn't had, you know, the opportunity to really understand, you know? Yeah. And so that's what makes me unique in that sense. Not unique, but unique in that sense, you know? Because the whole thing about time and Black people being late, you know, comes from work incentive. So if 400 years you wasn't getting paid, why you want to be on time anyway?
Interesting.
What's the incentive? You see? So 400 years later, now that we're in the work world, you know, that habit hasn't translated to us, but the facts of it, the facts of our instinct is still there. You know, it's not as important to me as other things have become for us. You know, things like love and understanding and peace and spirituality are things that are natural to us because of that 400 years. So we see that as a priority in case of being on time. Yeah. You know, when we like that, we right on time. Like Brothers Johnson, you know, right on time in a minute, you know. So Brother Johnson had that song, in a minute, we'll be right on time. There was David telling the truth. You know, in a minute, we be right on time because we need a minute to catch up to y'all.
You're right, Tommy. And you speaking of you've been a Black man, and I saw a lot of your interviews, and you stand on your heritage, your culture, and you being raised in a Caucasian family. Was it taught to you as a youth? How was that instilled in you as you saw the diversity of two races? How was the culture, Black culture, instilled in you? You know,
by my mother and my family. You know, they knew who I was and what I was. The reason why they took me on is because of that. You know, all white people ain't the same. First lesson I got about society was I was playing with little cowboys and Indian toys. And my grandfather got on his knees and said, all right, I want you to make the Indians the heroes, because they are, you know, and they were fighting the Indians for their land and their life, you know, but all cowboys didn't kill Indians either. So I was already given that. You know, my mother went down during the civil rights movement and pulled me out of Mississippi, you know, because she wanted to do something about social change back then. So, you know, she realized that I could read really good at a young age. So she'd give me novels to read. So she was downloading me with information that I now can use, you know. So she gave me Lena Horne's autobiography of Malcolm X, Buried My Heart, A Wounded Knee, which is about the Trail of Tears for Native Americans. So I got a good education on that. By the time I was in first grade, they asked for the Pledge of Allegiance. I raised the Black Power fist and got in trouble, you know, because that's what I was taught. You know, I got the DC and Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud was on the charts, you know, and she knew that. So here she come to school again, you know, and I'm in this principal's office for holding up the Black Power fist. And they said, he's holding up the Black Power fist during the Pledge of Allegiance. And she said, well, that's all he knows. He's in the first grade. That's what he knows about himself. Now, if you want him to learn the Pledge of Allegiance, he'll learn it. But that's what he learned first. You see?
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Your memoir seems very interesting. I know you are a famous, you know, entertainer, comedian, all that great stuff. Yes, you. You know you are.
Somebody contact Facebook quick.
but there's a lot.
Somebody contact the BT Awards and contact NAACP Awards. Quick. Yeah.
But in your book, I know you mentioned a lot of things people may not know about you, your career. When it's all said and done, what is the most single factor, if any, that you would like your fans or people to you know, remember your legacy as?
Just as a person who understood who he is and was really committed to helping his people understand who they are, and so that we can progress into the future. And that's the main legacy. And that I'm the type of individual that wants to give to this place we live, as opposed to take from. And so that's what I'd like.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
That is. So, Tommy, when it comes to the entertainment industry, you are very versatile, of course. So is there a challenge for balancing all of your talents? Like, for example, one day you'll be acting and then maybe doing a voiceover and then stand up. You know, how do you balance it all?
Mortgage and child support payments, probably. You know, the minute that I learned that I could make a living, you know, with my talent, that became my job, you know. So it was just about using my versatility in my job, using my versatility in my vocation. So I can sing, dance, do impressions, I can do animation, voiceovers. It's just that whole round of skills that help me excel in my business. I can use Michael Jordan as an example by using basketball as a parallel. He can dribble, he can steal, he can get offensive rebounds, he gets his team involved in it, he'll make the shot when he has to, and he handles his business. So I use that as a model. You see what I mean? He doesn't always have the ball in his hands. I'm not always in a movie over here, or always in a TV show over here, or always in that. So what is he doing when he ain't got it in his hands? You see what I'm saying? He's helping the team excel. So that's what helps me, you know. And I've studied this business and watched it close. I've been taught by the best: Stevie Wonder, Luther Vandross, George Duke, Stevie Nicks, Carlos Santana. on and on and on. And so I know how this thing works, and I know what I want to contribute to it too.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing who I am and what I want is very, very key. But the skill is knowing what I want and knowing what I want to be without taking it from somebody else and not being able to help them.
Most definitely, most definitely. And you've been around for decades. And how do you stay relevant with all the social network? People being discovered by social network. And back in the day, I know you guys, y'all had to get out there physically and grind and just be everywhere. You'd like to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's good to have both. It's good to have both. You get hip to what's really happening now. You can't discount it. I have a social media structure to my career, because it has to be there.
Mm-hmm.
I can compare that and draw a parallel to the automobile. They was laughing when they first seen it, because they probably said, that can't climb a hill like a horse, and the dude with the car said, give me time. And now the car is powered by horsepower.
True.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the horses are in the pasture.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah. You have so much wisdom. It just let you all day just sit back and just tell me right.
That's what it's all about, though. It's Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
This is a great start for all of us. It's Thursday. We can't do nothing about Friday or Wednesday.
That's true.
It all starts here.
Yeah.
It all starts here.
Yeah.
Every turn of today is an opportunity for me to take advantage of the last day I have until tomorrow. So this is like somebody calling, yeah, let's do it. If I got the time on my schedule, come on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How you gonna not benefit from that?
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Yeah. So let's move to inspiration. What words of encouragement would you like to share to upcoming or inspiring comedians that want to be successful as yourself?
Work on that craft. Work on that craft. My subscription or prescription to a comic is stay on the stage 7 days a week, no matter what. Stay on the stage 7 days a week, and everything will turn out just fine. And the comedian that I'm telling that will say to me, well, besides that, what is it? You know what I mean? and I'm like, nah, you got to start there. You got to start there. You start with a bike, with training wheels. First, you start with your parents helping to hold you up, as soon as some training wheels get off of there. And then as soon as you get the balance on it, you can ride that bike wherever you want. So how you going to start without training wheels? And when you let go, how you're not going to do the next thing when you don't depend on somebody who knows that to guide you to that next stage. So I'm telling them at that stage, that's what you do. And then that next stage will take care of itself.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, that's very much true.
And do not take no for an answer. No does not mean no. No means just not yet. Not yet. When I got to the clubs in LA, after being a success in DC and locally, I'd go to the clubs here and kick ass in every club. People laughing, they ass off. And then the club manager would come and say, well, you're not what we're looking for. And I go, well, you ain't you looking for somebody who's funny? Yeah, but you're not what we're looking for. So I said, well, there's something in between this, and there's a story in my book about how I got left at the bus stop by a bus driver every day in February, and it was cold, and I was standing out there, and this white boy would drive by me every day, and I was late to work. I had to walk to work, but I found me some shortcuts. But it taught me a lesson. I'm not going to put myself in a situation where I'm dependent on someone else to get me where I want to go. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
It helped me. It helped me.
Yeah.
So I guess at this point we're pretty much wrapping things up.
Yeah.
Is there any
Question for me to you?
Uh-oh.
What's next for you guys?
You said what's next?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
You make a great show together. You're obviously doing some good things together. What's next for you guys?
Oh well, I say what we expound on. We have our nonprofit organization, Still Our Rise. You want to tell them a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we actually inspire and empower youth and young adults through our community initiatives. We've been doing this since 2014.
Okay.
Yeah, so we just recently fed about 300 elderly
elderly, homeless, and
the homeless.
A month before that, came out and fed. Was it about 400? Yeah, drive-through food giveaway. We've hit about 400. Teamed up with some partners in the community. And 2 months before that, 3 months, we fed about 500 families, 500 families. So we've been doing that with our nonprofit, but we had to change a lot of
to get creative
strategy because we have our youth entrepreneur programs, arts and culture, health and wellness.
Right.
So that was a component. It's not exactly the magazine, but next is
is what's next.
Hey,
you guys remind me of somebody, man. Check this out.
Okay.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
You guys remind me of somebody.
Wow, Tommy.
Huh?
Wow.
And watch this. To the right, right? And then to the left, right? And then in the middle. Yeah, man.
What you saying? I want to know.
Huh?
I want to feel what you saying. It's great.
Well, I mean, what at the end of the day, what remains is the most powerful thing. It is that given part. That's what remains. So, the dude, has done that. But it seems like that the only people that are listening right now are these people. See? These are the only people that took those principles and those morals and carried them forward. You notice somebody else ain't there. You see?
Right.
So, if you're going to look at yourself as who you really are, that's who you are.
We appreciate that.
Yeah. Because if we're gonna be looking at who they are, then they just stormed their own capital. So, it looks like we have a purpose to do something else.
Absolutely.
Some things are obvious if they can be pointed out simple.
Absolutely. You're right. Wow, that's a lot coming from you. I'm like,
hey.
Wow. Thank you so much, Tommy. And you have a great day, and we'll be in touch.
You got it. Love y'all much.
All
right. You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hold your head up high to the sky.